like how to initiate Winston. Like I
Sure.
can play Winston on like Lubani or Gibraltar when it makes more sense,
Mm-hmm.
but on a map like Volskaya, it's
Oh,
doesn't
you've
click
got
with me.
fine initiation options on Volskaya, but that's fine. We'll
Okay.
we'll cover them. That's great. So you start as Winston. I love it. Okay. So you're having trouble with initiations, probably because you're having trouble figuring out what your initiation paths are, and that's fine. There's actually some pretty good ones here. I love this map. So here we go.
Okay.
The X strategy coach likes 2CP. Big surprise, I know, but yeah. Okay, so this is probably already the problem. You can't do this every time, but your best approach, I'm going to say, is Winston, is out the gate, you leap up to here, you
Oh,
walk
gotta be
over to
stationary.
here, you jump forward off of this with spacebar, or just jump off this with spacebar, and you can land right here.
You're not screen sharing, by the way.
Oh, that would totally. You can't just read my mind, man. Like okay,
I
okay,
mean,
that's fair.
I can read your mind, but
Okay, so let's try this again. So, can you see my screen just fine now?
yes.
You walk out of spawn, you shift up to here, walk around over to here. You can jump out past this, or you can just jump up straight from this, but I find it works pretty well to, walk out here and jump, with spacebar, and before you fall below it, you use your leap, and you can end up, if you're holding forward the whole time, right here.
Okay.
From here, you can go behind, you can drop behind here for cover, you can do whatever you need to, but this gets you in without having to walk forward. Like, there aren't great flanks to take here where you won't just get punished as Winston, if you know what I'm saying. So I
Yes.
find this is the best, if you do it 3 times in a row, you're just going to get, like, hooked out of the air when you go for it. But, like, this is this is the one that is your best approach, and you might have to do other stuff to mix it up. But from here, you can either immediately start zapping them if your team is ready to push, which, by the way, that's usually what you'll do. You'll go, okay, turning them in 3, 2, 1, and your 1 will basically land as you're, like, landing here, and yes, they're going to turn and look at you. You can bubble and zap them. You can leave, go find this cover. You've got access to health packs. Like, from here, you can do lots of good zappy work, because what usually happens is your team presses them, they've turned around to look at you, and they kind of end up going through here where you just hit, giant big zaps, etc., which are perfect. And if you don't like the damage, you just back up a touch. So that's the easiest way to break this that I'm going to give you here. But let's see what you do.
Okay.
Any questions about that one?
That makes sense.
Okay. You might have to practice it once or twice. Just load up a custom game and make sure you can hit the jump, because it is you can make it, but it's not an easy make necessarily.
Hmm.
So you'll get it with just like a tiny bit of practice, though. There's way harder things to do in this game. So what did you see that just happened, and what does it mean?
And ball running away. He already used slam. He used grapple, and he used a shield.
Right. So he'll get grapple back probably before you're willing to do anything off of that. But
Hmm.
if you just wait just a second for your ball to get healed up by Anna, their main tank is down pile drive and adaptive shield. It's go time.
Hmm. All right.
Okay. And you can't just wait here, and you can't use your shield here. If you do break this way, you pretty much immediately have to leap up to here again. You're
Okay.
going to take some damage if you go this way, but if you see you're already at less than half health, and you've accomplished... Okay, this is the first time that you've done damage. So you've probably done 30 damage so far, and you're spending your bubble cooldown in the choke. It is rough to use Winston's bubble to try to rotate like
Right.
this. Your way to help them rotate is to be here so that enemies turn around and look at you. And then your team can rotate easily. So
Okay.
if you're going mid, that's fine. You're going to have to go mid sometimes, because you'll start, getting pre-predicted that you're going this way if your team is failing to take first. So you just go, okay, I peek and I pretty much immediately jump to here, and if there's too much heat, I just immediately drop and get the mini. So that's your thing. We don't want to be using our bubble to help us rotate. It's just not a very good tool for that, for what the cooldown is.
Okay.
But this is good. The ball just went out. Your Genji's in. So again, we want to go in and help here. It's good. You can bubble here. You want to hold this space. Yep. No big. That was right. It was just, late for when we were doing it as such.
Right. So the timing was off.
Yep.
Miracle of science.
Soldier 76 is reporting for duty.
Get up.
Sorry, I didn't mean to lose you there. Yeah, so I don't love that bubble. I'm assuming we weren't looking at you at the time, my fault, but I think you dropped that to protect someone, which let me see how much trouble they were in. I'd actually just body block for her. You don't care
Okay.
if you take some damage. You're at full health right now, so just body block for her. You don't need this bubble. This bubble, it's a long, that's 12 seconds that you can't put a meaningful bubble down for. And she needed you to body block for an instant, and you can already be leaving. You just needed to make sure that Echo couldn't get her. Because now you're kind of stuck, like, waiting during a poke battle, and you don't contribute to a poke battle unless you can be in their backline distracting them, and your team isn't set up great for a poke battle either, right? Like, they've got McCree plus Echo plus Mercy. You guys have Genji Soldier. Like, that it seems like that's going to work. Yeah.
Come here and get stabilized.
Okay, you need to push now because they're going to turn to deal with that. It's annoying that Mercy's there. I get what you're doing. That's fine.
Weapon system optimized.
Perfect. And you see all that big stuff, and it's potentially worth bubbling here because this is good. You're getting big cleave. Wouldn't have to drop, even if you're dropping the bubble to protect yourself. Don't have to drop there. Nothing too wild there. You just don't drop. That'll save you a lot of health. Then you've also got the option to go over here if you need to dislodge someone. You don't because it's your soldier that took the high ground, but safer up here.
Okay. So when I do take that high ground, how long should I wait until I need to drop or initiate again?
Well, you're already doing your job. Your job is to effectively be creating openings for your teams to get eliminations as a tank, right? Like you help them rotate, you create openings. If you're here and you're zapping, 2 or 3 people or even 1 or 2 squishies, that person is vulnerable to, let's say you're Genji going, oh, I see that person is taking damage. I can go get an elimination on them anytime I want for as long as my Winston is contesting that person, right? Like that's basically true. You can't contest them forever, but let's say you are contesting them for 3 to 4 seconds. Your Genji could get an elimination on any time that he sees them during those 4 seconds. Does that roughly feel true?
That makes sense. Okay.
Okay, so your job is sort of I don't need to reinitiate. I'm already zapping these people. I don't really care if I get the elimination on them. I'm getting a ton of primal ult charge because I'm zapping multiple people. I'm keeping them in a situation where, hey, maybe your Ana will hit a nade and then we'll get a 5k. Like you're just doing this. They are pressured. They are in a case where they can go down and you're not taking much damage in exchange for that. Like you're putting out, what are we going to think here? So let's say 3 people at 60 health per second. So that's going to be, you're doing 180 damage per second, and you can do that for, let's say, 4 seconds, and in exchange, you take 200 damage. Or maybe you take 200 damage and you give up your bubble. That's going to be pretty worth in terms of there's a big opening for your team to get eliminations there. And if not, this team is at least backing off hard. So your team is pretty cleanly getting their backline in, being able to take their positional advantage, and now you're going to win the fight from there. But in terms of when you would re-engage, you'd re-engage once you have the cooldowns available to do so and you're not providing value from up here anymore. So let's say they all back up onto point or they all back up into here, etc. And you're like, hey, I'm not really doing work from here. I can't reach them and they're peeking me from over here and doing work. Well, then you'd go, okay, well, I don't have bubble back, but I do have leap back. So maybe I'll go over here, stall for a couple more seconds. Now I have bubble and now I'll go in and turn these guys around as my team pushes them. You're constantly going, hey, how can I create situation and extend situations where they're vulnerable and I'm not. You can definitely also play Winston in other ways where you're constantly going for I am going to force 1v1s on the backline and just win, and that's totally fine. I've got no issue with that, but the but they play a bit similar. And if you're doing what we say here, where, hey, I'm going to get the big zap. If they retreat in there, I'm going to go around. If they retreat to the back of the point, maybe I'm going to go here, then go around, then drop here and zap them from behind. Like, you want to be thinking more like that. You tank by turning them around, by making them think about other stuff, not by being a Reinhardt, where, okay, I go through the choke first for my team because I have a little bit more armor and health and can absorb the hits for them. Well, you don't. I mean, you've got less armor than Reinhardt has. You've got a pretty big head hitbox there, and you don't have, Reinhardt's nearly as much barrier health as Reinhardt does, right?
Hmm.
Okay, cool. So hopefully that answers that reasonably.
Yes.
My ultimate is ready.
Good?
Adaptive circuits engaged.
I've reached the objective. Let's coordinate our efforts.
Yeah, it's fine to jump for her. You're in a 5v2.
Securing the objective.
No. You know better than that. What's wrong with this? You tell me.
There's no point in primeling because I'm gonna get away.
Right, and yeah, it's nice to get the elim on him so that their Mercy doesn't get to heal him back up and get Valkyrie, but they're gonna have an instant respawn if you get the thing, just based on how 2CP mechanic works. He'll have a 2-second respawn, no joke. And it's nice to deny his Mercy Valk charge, but it's not so nice that it's worth spending your primal.
Objective A captured. New defense point. Objective B.
So what do you think your options for breaking this point as Winston are?
I'm assuming to take that high ground right there where the Genji is going, and then to dive onto the bridge back there near their
Yeah.
spawn.
You can go from here. It's a little dicey because they've got pretty good line of sight on you as you're pushing up to here to do your jump to reach here. So that's a little dicey, but yes, that's totally an option. Another option is to go right over here and just hop up here, wait for a second or two, then drop, and then you can come in from the side with Mega, you can walk back up here, etc. But those are both totally valid options. If you go up main, you've got to really, get to here, etc., work your way forward, and then sort of jump up to here and be zapping them from an angle over here to turn them for your team, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're clear on the break paths.
Adjusting angle of attack.
But this is a particularly good one because this is one the opponents will try to hold, and you want to push them off of it so your team can use it. Like if you have a soldier that wants to live up there or something, it would be sure nice of you to press out the Fair Echo for them.
I'm on the objective.
Okay, you are going to get a tick here. That's good. Good.
Tactical visor activated.
There you go. I'm going to rewatch your... Let's do this. It's fine. You're on the Mercy. Yeah,
I think
okay.
that bubble here to prevent healing, but I forgot they had a Zenyatta, so it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, okay. I get it. I'd have probably been like, hey, she's going to jump out, and if your soldier hadn't gone the elim there, you'd have had to decide, am I going to jump in to try to get this elim? And that's just 100% off the table as soon as you've spent this bubble. But that's fine. So you go for that, which is fine, and then you get to pressure this down, which is great. Ideally, you'd have, landed on the high ground here and then rotated through that. Because again, if you're keeping them thinking about you, that's providing some pretty good value. Plus, you're landing here with a Discord on you. So the land should have been, hey, I'm not getting this elimination. This, you can calculate that. You can go, hey, I see the Harmony Orb, I see all that. I'm going to land here instead. It's unfortunate I didn't get the elimination, but it was more my job to keep this target low so that someone else could get the elimination, like the soldier got the elimination on the Mercy earlier. And to keep myself safe, because the longer I'm alive and safe, the longer they have to keep thinking about me, and that's critical as a tank, that they have to keep thinking about me, and the fact that I'm going to appear over here in a second, literally a second, and be zapping them, or in 3 seconds I'm going to appear over here and have bubble and be able to bother them more, etc. Or I'm going to be able to go here, and the Zen who thought he was safe, I can, zap when he retreats, or I can drop behind him and duel out, etc. But that's just,
Okay.
how we avoid requiring this res.
Heroes never die. Let's get you lot out.
And I think you're in this enough, you are in this enough to justify chasing how you do here. I don't really think you need that bubble, but that's fine. And then you're going to go high ground, which is perfect. Perfect. Okay, so nothing wild here. And this should be the cap. That wasn't particularly well done. You took more damage than you needed to there, so let's go over this. Okay, so you see the Zen, and we both agree that the Zen matters while the ball does not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can walk at the Zen, which is ultimately what you do. But you see you have your jump in 1 second, and you kind of need your leap damage to be able to take this duel, right? Like he beats
Okay.
you if you just walk at him. So this isn't really the right answer, what you're doing here. The right answer is going, shoot, I don't have leap yet. Let me close for a second. He throws off his 5 orb. That's great. But even if he didn't throw off his 5 orb, I close for a second, get my leap, and then I'm just going to go up and over and try to land here. And there's not much he can go. Even if you don't get leap damage because he's retreated to here, you're still much closer to him than you were before, and you're actually at the right distance to be able to drop your bubble and have him go, this is uncomfortable. Where do I go? I guess the answer is back into spawn, and you don't care if he goes back into spawn. You're like, okay, you're zoned. You're not contributing. We cap the point if you go back into spawn. So up and over is a little better here. This guy doesn't hit his shots how he needs to on you, and I'll show you. I'll slow that down. But I promise you cannot walk at a Zen like that and then win this fight.
You can survive, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you see you're at 115, and that's him not hitting enough headshots on a target that wasn't particularly hard to hit headshots on.
I'm on fire.
Ready for battle. Ready for battle.
Defending
Let's say
this...
if I want.
Yeah, I was just about to ask that. So you want to know how to defend this as Winston?
Yes. How would
Okay.
I defend this as Winston?
So really what you do is you'd be playing a more divey comp, a more pokey comp, more dive poke comp, less brawl comp, because obviously that's not... Well, you actually set up so you can do it. This is hard to do on ladder until you get to a higher SR, but this is the point. This is not the point. Winston doesn't do a great job of holding this choke. Winston plays just fine around the point with all this high ground here. So you'd be doing the, hey, I have my Ash Mercy back here, my Widow back here, my Hog is wandering around, mostly playing near Mega, etc., and you as Winston are kind of free agenting it, where you might be standing here where you can see them, then back off, and then go back up, and then, zap them as they walk through, or zap them as they walk through, and your Ash throws a TNT into them and your soldier rains down on them. You play around the point with the high ground as your protection and your ability to transition between it, rather than playing at the choke here. If you're at the choke here as Winston, you basically only get to do it once, and you go up here and you hide, or you go in here and you hide, and as they approach the choke actually ready to take the fight, you leap into them from behind, etc. You drop and creep up on them from behind, and they go, wait, suddenly there's a Winston on our backline zapping 3 or 4 of us who we can't sleep dart, can't discord because he put his bubble down right, and that's your engage. But you can't do that more than once, right? So you could do that for like the
Okay.
first push, but after that, as Winston, you're playing around the high ground, but the other issue you'll run into is on ladder. If you're Winston, if it's not a stack, your team is just going to be so used to playing the choke until you get to a higher level that what you'll end up doing is you'll play from here and you'll be leaping up onto truck if they go this way, or you'll just be corner holding and zapping them as they walk past from this way, and then you'll go out to here. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. So I play Winston as like a hit and run character,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Exactly. Exactly.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers in
Peaked that a little early. Like you'll
Okay.
learn what the timing is, but you peaked that a little earlier than you needed to. Remember, your fire strike takes an instant to leave your hammer, so you can actually even start the swing before you've opened it. It's not like you're gonna have to last minute aim. You know exactly where that door is, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Barrier activated.
Good. Play the corner. Yeah, I saw it. You went back. You're like, wait, I'm backing up. Why am I doing this? I can play this corner and swing into him. So that's a good. Yeah, I can see the things from last time taking a little more effect there. But ultimately, I think your team has now backed up, and you're gonna have to. Yeah. Oh no, they're here. They're here. You can fight this out. This is fine. Punish that. Yeah, that was a better engage. And you're instantly on the end of this pushing backline. Perfect.
Enemy contact.
Yeah, that was a really well taken fight on your part. Nice job.
Understood. Healing.
That's fine. And now you're going to use this corner. You do have the health. And yeah, okay, so I don't love that one. I don't hate getting the mini there, though your hog was going for it too, but I think you did want to do this one at least until you saw the beat there, and I think you pulled back before we saw the beat, because your health, if we look back, was at a place where that was
Viable.
about like you weren't going to expect to get a better chance later. Good job of getting the lamp here. So yeah, you're at half health here. You can get your swings and get your, oh hey, I'm going to get my damage on Zarya twice and on Rein once as he walks through, and then I can still retreat back further into this if I need to. I'm unlikely to lose my people here, and as I'm doing that, I can see my Hog and Asher shooting at them. So I want to be getting that tax damage to a degree. Now, ultimately, the beat's out here. That's fine. If you go, hey, the beat's too big, I don't want to tax them, I can understand that. And at that point, you can go, yeah, I'm backing up for this. Okay. That's fine. I mean, I probably would have said, you know what, do the little stupid shield thing, because you had 3/4 of your shield and your hog's still alive, and you had less than 100 health, so this probably was okay, maybe I try to stall the point a little bit with my shield, etc., because you might as well spend down some of your shield buying yourself, a second off the clock and some hog time here, because you just weren't going to be able to hit. Your charge was never going to hit anyone into the wall here, right? There was just no way. Like, if you'd gone for a swing, I'd have said okay, but the charge, there's just absolutely no way.
Hello.
Back into the fray.
Objective lost. New defense point. Objective B.
Who did you think you were getting there? Were you hoping for Zarya?
I think so.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, I don't care if you missed mechanics. It's just I couldn't tell who you wanted. But I honestly think going back to this cover was your play after that grab ended. It was okay. Let me go back to this, and I've still got this that I can enforce from, etc. As opposed to charging here. This isn't a bad place, but this team was already rotated past your ability to really hold from this place.
Okay.
And he knows you don't have charge at that point, so you're kind of free if you're not paying 100% attention to him. You don't need the Mega.
Oh no, I thought Zarya rounded the corner there.
Got it. Okay.
Teleporter online.
So are you thinking much about the two teams' ult economies when you're playing? Are you doing much ult tracking of the opposing team or no?
I usually do ult tracking of Rein, Zarya, and usually the support ults, but not
Okay.
necessarily the DPS ults,
That's
unless it's like.
that's plenty. Like, I'm not worried about that. Ult tracking is something you build into, and you kind of start with your mirror and you build out for there. And if you're doing it for, both tanks and both supports, that's absolutely fine. So you think that they have, maybe nano and nothing else at this point, right? I would
Yes.
assume, right? Okay. That's just checking. Take this fight. If he'll fight you here, that's great. I don't think you need to back up from that. Like, I think you can just go ahead.
I think I backed up here because I know he was gonna have shatter, and he moved past me. So
Got it.
I
You were worried about the
try to
shatter.
match his speed. So I'm worried about the shatter because I know he's gonna shatter my entire team, and he have nano as well. So that
That's
was
fair.
dangerous.
That's fair. No, that's fair. I want to see it one more time.
But I think the Lucio sped him past me, so I couldn't catch up to him.
Yeah, no, you were reading potential shatter threats. How did we not get a TNT into this? Am I missing? Where is our Ashe? Sorry, this isn't an Ashe critique. This is just okay. Low ground Ashe. I'll live. It hurts. I mean, it's just so juicy, and it would, Oh, it's the hook.
Oh,
Okay.
he got hooked. Okay.
Got it. Yes. Okay. At that point, yeah, definitely be backing off because you need to get back in front of him. You are correct. I'm a little surprised you didn't shatter that back. You saw that?
I think I do here.
Okay.
But it did earlier. You're right here.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal. It's shattering it there is correct. It's just you had a better shatter earlier, and as the instant you could tell the shatter wasn't going in your direction, I was a little surprised you didn't hit the shatter on him plus his friends. If we look at this, I'll slow it down. Like, that's fine. Pity could be baiting you. That's a 3-person shatter right there. You're not going to get bashed out of the shatter or anything. Not a big deal. It's just like, hey, that stops the Nano Rein from, he'll hit the shatter, but that stops the Nano Rein from cleaning up his own shatter, so you're canceling 1.5 ults, and you're getting a 3-person shatter. That's,
Gotcha.
yeah. I mean, worst thing that happens, the Zarya war-runs forward with her bubble and blocks the shatter from getting these guys. You're still shattering, and you're still flattening a nano Reinhardt, which is yeah, that's fine. I don't want him wandering around while he's nanoed. So this is, minimum acceptable plus lots of upside. And he can't block you because he's shattering. Too wild there.
Meteor strike.
Heroes never die.
Almost. Right idea. You go through the mega, just don't make it. Nothing too wild there. You're going to come back on Rein because you're at Earth Shatter. Hopefully you're going to come back from the left this time. From the left? From the left? Good. Okay. And now you're going to come back as Hammond, Diva, even Winston, not Reinhardt. Okay, you're not going to come back. That's fine. Okay, so nothing too wild there. There was definitely a big earth shatter. I am seeing, some improvement on judgment of, hey, no, this is the corner. This is what I'm going to fight at. Less of the backing up that we're seeing on the King's Row stuff a couple days ago. So I'm happy to see that improvement.
Ready for battle.
And we're staying on Reinhardt. Okay. Well, we're on defense again. That makes sense.
You honor.
5, 4.
That door doesn't move. You know where it is without peeking. It's okay.
Defend objective A.
Try to keep yourselves in one piece. I don't mind an easy ride.
Yep, punish this. You know who they're running. That's fine. You can push in and brawl into this because they just don't have the same brawling power that you do, and your team is keeping line of sight on you here. So you can push up a little and swing into this and make sure you don't have to hard guard right here because you've specifically seen that they're sort of running a lighter, more flexible comp. They're, that Winston's already passed, etc. So do feel free to brawl into this and get the big swings as long as you keep that angle with your team.
Okay.
Get inside.
Good. So your team is probably being pushed back by that Winston would be my thought right now. Are any comms going on?
I was in team chat, but no one else was talking.
Okay, that's fine. So you don't know. My concern, because I saw the Winston jump up here, I don't know that he's here. I mean, I can see on your screen at this moment, but I'm thinking, oh, there we go. I'm clicked on you. There we go. I'm thinking you probably, now you see his Tesla, but my thought would have been it's time to start backing up. Because he's probably over here pressuring my team. That's where he should be anyways. Or he's jumping over to here making my team leave. Which means I'm not going to have the backline support to be here anymore. It's time to start backing up through here, etc. Which you are, it looks like trying to do. When the lamp comes into play, that's okay. That can change your equation. You don't want this corner. You want the next one like you had last time. Yep. They don't have a Reinhardt. Yeah, I can live with that. And then you're going to shatter, and he doesn't hit the rock. I don't love necessarily the frequency at which you do these. I'm to the side, and now I'm going to charge into the thing. Like, it's a short charge, and they don't have a Reinhardt, so that makes it better. But, if you hit that charge, it's going to eliminate one 200 HP hero or do, half of a tank's life, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you swing... it depends, but you're probably going to do, you're probably going to do damage in the total damage as they're coming through. Let's say you hit 3 people, you hit one of them twice, like we're already up to like 400 damage on that, right? Something in that
That makes sense.
ballpark.
Okay.
And, sorry, what's that?
That makes sense.
And you have put yourself at much less risk in exchange. Like, you've put yourself at much less risk because even though this is short, there's still the delay animation of your charging. You hit it, you're kind of you self stun, and then you have to get back to here, or you have to turn and start swinging. And pretty much every time you charge like this, you can expect to give up, even on a short charge like this, like half your life, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
that just seems like a poor trade. Now sometimes you surprise people with it, and you're like, hey, I'm doing this, and I'm gonna pin that Reinhardt, and it's worth it because my team is instantly gonna melt him, and it's gonna be great, and that matters because then I'll turn and shatter them or something. But most of the time, the swing on a small corner like this is better than the short charge like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So you could technically push up a little to look for a fire strike because you got the team kill there, but you can't go all the way to the original one.
Okay.
Like I'm talking literally just a, hey, let's push up here, see if there's a fire strike through the door, through that, through there, etc. No, they didn't. They don't have a hog to throw at me either. Okay, I can look. Okay, now I'll back off because more of them are alive.
Okay.
But not a big thing.
30 seconds remaining.
Shield your hog. Shield your hog. Yeah. And you probably actually wanted to, after he got lifted, you wanted to wander back forward so that you were able to shield him when he got slammed down so that he, isn't getting hit by this Symmetra, etc.
Okay.
Beautiful. You can actually push a little further forward and use this because this bubble is here for you, so you can be out here swinging a little more aggressively. This bubble's amazing because it means you can't be discorded, you're not going to get hit by animates, you can be a little more aggressive with your swings in the air. Not
Okay.
actually a big deal. Oh no, sorry, this isn't your Winston bubble. My bad. It's the blue-red thing. You were correct to be exactly where you were.
Okay.
Don't mind me. I was thinking, did you echo a Winston? Is that what happened? But no, that's not. I knew your team didn't have a Winston. It's fine. You're gonna hit a fat shatter and end this. Yep. But Hog's not gonna lose. Hog? Did you forget you didn't have ammo in your clip?
Soldier 76 reporting for duty.
That shouldn't have happened. Okay. Well. So you didn't hit a huge shatter here. That's our shatter. And let's just look at this. You're doing your swings. You get the turrets. I get it. I get the short pin there. A question, is it worth it to ride out more of his nano to put yourself in more danger? And with the sim wall here, I think the answer is yes, because you'll be protected for most of it as you try and put him into this. But, that's pretty micro, and that was a very instant decision. So you're trying to get both.
Yeah. I think
Okay.
so to move forward, so I couldn't get him.
Yeah, he did. I mean, this is the more important, but you were trying to get both, and you got one. Okay, that's fine. Hog, I want to see your clip. I just don't understand what you did here. You have 3 shots. She's gonna take 2 seconds to finish you.
Oh, he reloaded.
He started to reload, then he went, oh shoot, that's wrong, so we hit take a breather.
I've got you in my sights.
Then he hits the hook that proves he could have won the whole fight. Like, it's just like, okay, that's fine. Whatever.
Thanks for the creep.
30 seconds
you had plenty of time to peek up here for your fire strike to
Right.
get a little ult charge going, because even if they somehow instantly kill you, you've got a 2-second respawn for quite a bit after they cap first like that. They shouldn't instantly kill you, but it's very low risk. Like, the risk is, oh no, instead of being able to defend from here, I'm gonna have to defend from here. So
Okay.
nice.
Let them up.
10 seconds
Okay. We'll take another look at it, but honestly, your guys' whole thing was pretty empty because you expected to win the last point.
10 seconds.
You do get the window fire strike, which is good.
Victory will soon be ours.
Probably gonna say no to the charge, but let's take a look.
Work in unison. Our defense will be impenetrable.
It's just not that good of an ability with how good they've made his hammer. It was never great, but so you get that. That's not looking at you. I mean, she's going to melt. She's going to melt your BAP either way, whether you charge or walk forward and swing at her. And is she going to get help? Lucio, Anna. Yeah, I see. There's the pin. That's going to deny Anna heals. I'm still going to say you walk forward and you swing at her on this.
Okay. It's just low risk to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But DC 9 actually. For
That's very nice of them. And maybe that happened as a result of you taking the fight somewhere else, right? So, I mean, it was definitely a result of that. You just wouldn't play to expect that outcome.
right. That wasn't the intention.
Yeah.
Ready for battle. Ready for battle.
It is not my preference to see to matters personally, but I will see them done.
Do you play Rein here, or do you swap back to Winston?
I think I'm playing right here because Winston first time wasn't working.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Defend objective A.
And you see there Winston is doing what I was talking about, where for this first push he can be up there. Except you guys found him and forced him out immediately. Okay, you're done. You wanted it, but you didn't get it. Oh, that is an aggressive push in. Okay. And it's gonna work. Your Mercy's just been able to pocket you the whole time. You are receiving an obscene amount of healing. Let's go back and show you what obscene amount of healing that you're getting. Okay, so you're getting Moira heals, getting a Moira orb, getting more Moira heals, getting Mercy heals, getting more Moira heals, getting Mercy heals, getting more Moira heals. So you're getting both of your supports pocketing you. Do you feel like you're getting enough done to justify both supports pocketing you here?
Yes, because I have two bulky targets looking at me instead of my other teammates.
Okay. I'm actually okay with that answer, because you're right. You know, hey, your Fair is not getting the Mercy pocket, but your Fair is getting to Rein on stuff for free because both of their tanks are paying attention to you. I'm okay with that answer. I just want to be like, hey, are you aware that this is a stupid amount of healing that you received? This should be a pretty easy win for you. They don't have... So you're tracking tank ults, so you probably think that they have Primal
Yeah.
and... What's that?
Just primal. I don't think about
Okay.
Sigma because Sigma wasn't hitting that much shots.
Yep, that's fine. So they've just got Primal, whereas you have 3 ults. This should just be literally blow all your ults and win. Like it's even okay to use Valkyrie early. But this is the one place you don't want to be fighting them. Okay, cool. So you can push, you can even get low on resources because you're just going to Valkyrie win off of it. I don't like how slow you are to push into this fight given the ult situation. Like, if we look back at this... Oh, did I... Oh, we're still in first. I rewound too far. My bad. Okay. You're missing some health, it's true, but everyone is positioned roughly how they want to be at this point, right? Our Fair is in, our Hog is where she wants to be. We'd like our Reaper to be closer, but positioning-wise, we're pretty much where we want to be here, and we know that we have both support ults, and okay, yes, now they have beat, but this is the sort of thing where a 3-to-1 ult difference is pretty massive. Like, that's a pretty massive ult difference. It's actually a 41 ult difference. That's pretty massive, but, like, a 4-to-3 ult difference is pretty minor, right?
Right. Okay.
So it's the sort of thing where you go, hey, I know what the ult bank looks like. I know we have a pretty massive lead, so I'm willing to use my ults actually somewhat less optimally. Like, I'm willing to Covalescence or Valk early to help us get in. Not to, like, help us get in from here or from here, but, like, from here or here, it's totally fine to just go, now you're the only one in voice chat, so you can't do that, but you can push more aggressively and just expect, even though that you're at half health, etc., that either Valk's going to get popped or Covalescence is going to get popped, and you want those ults to come out when they don't have good answers, right? Like, okay, well, I guess we have to beat for Covalescence. Okay, well, we're Valking as soon as Covalescence is over. So what's your move? Like, you want to be doing that, and then that's going to create an easy opening for you to shatter and win. And I don't care on the order of the ults, but when you know you have an advantage like that, you don't want to play this slow. And if we look at how you're doing this... Oh, let me get you. You're kind of going, hey, I want to wait for a better situation. I want to get my health back. Like, you already have an adequate surround on them. You already have the ult bank on them. And you're like, no, I don't want to go in yet. And you've even got one of your teammates saying, hey, my ult's ready. We can go wild, etc. And there it is. Ooh, brutal. Good, Sandiana. And there's your Shirley.
Rocket barrage incoming.
Okay, I'm glad you stopped that short. Just wall map, literally just wall map. You're up, your team is going to win this if you play to preserve your own life.
Heroes never die.
I'm a little surprised you didn't hit the swing fire strike timing on her coming out of mech there. That's not a big deal. Yeah, that's fine. That's the appropriate target. Okay, so nothing too wild there. Just,
Victory.
when you start to get into trouble and you were mostly doing this, preserve your own life enough a bit, you are going to grind out the win there eventually as long as you don't start taking risks, etc. Um, so you got that. I think, the biggest thing is going to be proper understanding of how you can use Winston on this map if you want to, and how Winston works, as a, hey, I'm going to turn them around, I'm going to pressure them, I'm going to keep them low. I don't have to get the elims on Winston. If I do, that's fine. I'm just going to trade out much more favorably, where I'm cleaving a bunch of them and I'm only taking, a couple hundred damage in return. Then on Reinhardt, it's going to be, a little bit less use of that charge. It's a simple math thing where, okay, it's not the one hit elimination, but it's really hard for them to keep up on healing if they're taking 400 damage across, 1.5 swings on 3 people or something like that, and you put yourself in much less danger. We saw that on the first point. We saw that in a couple other places where you're using those short charges. Your reactions are good for short charges when you need to do them to match a Reinhardt, to match a Doomfist. I've seen that, but using them offensively, like we saw in second defense, where it's like, hey, I'm going to go for this. Not a terrible charge. That was definitely a small judgment of, do we charge here or do we walk the 2 steps and swing at her? But I do think that you are erring a little more on the side of charge, and I'd like to calibrate that back just slightly.
Okay.
Okay. So, do you have questions? You have general stuff. You've got some time in the session, and I think those are the kind of things. We talked a lot about Winston, and then we can adjust the charges. And we talked about ult bank stuff. That's more general. That'll help across all of your heroes, etc. As you build out. And if you're tracking 4 of the enemy ults and you're doing that pretty successfully at this point, you're at the point where you can definitely start really using that information to inform more than just personal decisions, but to really inform team decisions, which you get to make as Reinhardt. Like, okay, we're pushing now.
Okay. I wanted to ask, as Winston, what other maps can I use the hit and run tactic besides Volskaya?
Sure. Let's see, where can't we run him almost becomes the better question. I mean, obviously, he's just fine to. You won't be able to go behind them as much, but, you should definitely be willing to run Winston on a Gibraltar, for example. Totally going to work on a Numbani, but it's not always the hit and run because you can't always get behind them. Sometimes you have to do more team based dives, or sometimes you have to do more, okay, I'm going to push you back and then drop and get out of here, etc. The hit and run type stuff. You can do some of that on Anubis, especially on Anubis first, where you do the, hey, I can go at you, and then I can jump up over to Mega here, or I can jump to the other side, keep you guys split, and then drop down back behind you again. If you're looking for it, you're going to find that it works in a lot of places. There's places to do it on Ilios ruins, when they're coming up after you've won a team fight, for example. You can go take sort of the pedestal in the middle, if that makes sense. Do you know what I'm talking about
Mm-hmm.
there? You can
Yeah, I
take
know what you're
that,
talking about.
or you can take the forward thing. The forward thing, there's like the ruins of sort of like where there's actually a ceiling there, and be like, okay, as they walk through, I'm just going to drop behind them and my team's going to take the fight here. It just, being Winston just changes where the team fights happen, is sort of the thing. But you can turn people around reliably on a lot of map when you have control of the space.
Makes sense. Okay.
Okay.
Um. So about the calibrating the charge, when will be like a good idea for a short charge, and will not be a good idea? Is it like on the basis of what's gonna get more value, or is it a basis of like what's worth?
Um, it's generally going to be. So it's generally going to be, hey, the swinging makes sense when you have a thing like that. The difference is sometimes when you are. It's really going to be sometimes when you're going to catch another Reinhardt unawares, because it sort of becomes a, hey, I need to change this dynamic completely. Like if we go back here and we go. It actually doesn't matter where we are. So if we go here, and you're here and you're swinging, and you back to here, and then you go, okay, I'm swinging, et cetera, and then maybe you go, okay, potentially I'm gonna have to back again, or something like that. If it's one of those situations where the other Ryan, like the other Reinhardt has Shatter. Sometimes it can be worth it to catch him and displace him. But some of it is just, not being predictable. Like this charge isn't every time bad, but 90% of the time, I think this is the right answer. Uh, Part of it is you're going to be more likely to catch that Reinhardt, to catch that thing. Like you go, no, I'm going to get the Reinhardt here, or I'm going to get someone else here. Whether that's a I'm trying to think of a hero who doesn't have a defensive cooldown and everything. The Symmetra here, like, it's okay to do the, hey, I'm going to get that, particularly when it's only one person. Like, if it's just you and Rein brawling it out, like, Rein's way ahead of his team, right? Then your swings aren't going to be worth as much, right? Like, if Rein is playing with a Soldier and a McCree and they're back here, or an Ashe and a Pharah and they're up here, well, he's not going to have a backline that's following him, right? So he's not really breaking this plane for his team. He's breaking this plane for him, right?
Okay.
So in that case, oh shoot, you've pushed him into a wall, etc. Or, you go, hey, there's a monkey, and I want to catch the monkey because the monkey is just going to leap away if I swing at him, but this is a monkey, and it's mostly just a monkey, and I want to pin this monkey into the wall because I think my team is going to destroy him before he gets away if I do that, whereas if I go for the swing, he's easily going to get out. Like, yeah, he'll get taxed a little damage, but then he'll go up here, go around like we talked about, or he'll go in here, get this mini, all that good stuff. So it's mostly when your swing isn't likely to be able to get multiple people. And, if the Reinhardt's here and the BAP is here, you can keep swinging because you're still going to get the BAP when he eventually comes up to rotate, right? So, like, he's not going to
Mm.
wait back here forever. But if, you've got an Anna playing over here, yeah, that Anna's going to wait there forever. So, okay, fine. You're not necessarily going to get more value out of the swing. But if there's a ton of stuff back here, they're going to get more value shooting into you on the charge. So it really does become how and where is his backline set up would probably be a big factor in determining whether you want to hit the charge or the swings there.
Okay, so it's just like more dependent on how much value you'll get from each one.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, I think that's all the questions I have.
Okay. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and call that here.